Brave Maker Show is hosted by Tony Gapastione and Christina Jackson. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
Hey, it's showtime, everybody. Welcome to episode 157 of the Brave Maker live show and podcast. My name is Tony Gapastione. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a Caucasian man in Redwood City, California. I'm a writer, director, and actor. And I am wearing, okay, so check it out. Today, I'm wearing one of my favorite t-shirts ever. It is the Midnight Mass shirt, which was one of my Brave faves. I don't know how many episodes ago. It's mint green. It's kind of this mint green vibe. And I got a little pink light in my Brave Maker studio with my black glasses and kind of grayish, brownish hair going on. And I'm always with my friend, collaborator, and the producer of my next feature film called Go, Veronica, Go, Christina Ray Jackson.
I love it. Tony, we're both rocking the green. We did not plan that. I am in some She-Hulk cosplay today. I've got some short blonde hair with a green eyeshadow and lipstick and the She-Hulk shirt with all the muscles torn out.
Okay.
And I'm in Dublin. I'm in Dublin, California, in my studio in my new favorite power chair since the other one got totaled. I'm in the Will Model 2, and my pronouns are he, she, they. I am queer, and I am happy to be here, Tony.
Which, if you want to find out what happened, go to episode 156, which was last week, and learn what happened to this wheel, this power chair. Southwest Airlines do better. But we're so glad that we can hang out with you all today, live or on the replay. If you're with us live, we have a special guest. We're going to introduce her in a minute, and we hope that you can learn a lot. That's our hope. We are all about elevating brave stories for justice, diversity, and inclusion. We like to elevate, and entertain, and educate. And Christine and I always start with this one question because we're trying to do it ourselves, and we encourage you to consider it too. What's the one thing that you did this week to brave your way forward toward your creative goals? What's your creative goal?
Tony, you're going to love this.
Bring it.
You're going to love this so much. Tony and I have been working on a music video for the better part of like 2, 3, 4 years. Not the music video itself, but just the entire process of recording and collaborating with multiple producers. I talked to our producer yesterday who gave me August 22nd for the audio completion date. I think we'll probably have the animation and everything done by then. We might have a music video done by August 22nd. So that's how I braved my way working with the producers. It's very exciting. What about you, Tony? How have you braved your way this week?
Good. Okay, so our other mutual project that Christina and I are working on is called Go, Veronica, Go.
That's
and
right.
We are trying to level up. Like, we want to get this film into production. The script is ready. We're doing development. Our intern, Sarah, who's right across the way. Wave, Sarah. She's here. I'm actually going to say
hey,
hi.
Sarah.
Hey. She is working on locations for Go, Veronica, Go. So that's one way. We went and visited some possible locations for filming. And today, I interviewed our first cinematographer.
Oh my gosh.
So it feels really great. We're looking at a DP who's going to be behind the lens of this really special film. And I liked the cinematographer, and it was really fun to talk about styles and how a director and a DP can work together. So, these little things that we share every week are just examples of how it's like one thing at a time, right? If we went back to every single episode that we recorded and we collected all these little things that we talk about, you'd be able to see, oh, wow, that's how you did it. One step at a time, 1 week at a time.
That's
so
right.
Keep going after those goals, those creative dreams, y'all.
Absolutely.
And our guest today is no stranger to going after dreams. She is doing it big time.
Yeah.
Like literally every single time I look at her videos, she is showing us not only how to live in the entertainment world, but she's making a house. She's building and buying and remodeling and doing all this amazing stuff. Her name is Miss Priscilla Lam. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, Priscilla Lam.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
This is great.
Priscilla, we love you. Give us a little physical introduction for all of our guests.
Yes. So, hi, everyone. I go by Priscilla Lam. My pronouns are she, her, and a description of me. I am a beautiful,
gorgeous,
I'm sitting down in a chair, caramel-skinned, Black and Asian female. I have almond eyes, black hair, a wider nose, full lips, and I have on a tan shirt. So.
Hey, everybody should recognize their beauty. So own it. And I love it. Thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
So before I turn it over to Christina, let me just say, Priscilla has been so important and crucial to the Brave Maker community, and it's such an honor to have you on the show today because you're an actress in a couple of our things, Last Chance Charlene, and some other things in development. She was our red carpet host at the film fest. We'll talk about that today, but we're just so proud of you and your work. So let's dig in.
Yes, let's dig in. So I had the pleasure of meeting Priscilla in our acting class. We had to do some scenes together, and have some fun becoming Meisner trained actors. But we would love to back up way before the classes and hear your origin story. Where were you born and raised? And how has your journey uniquely prepared you for the work you're doing today?
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm coming to you guys today from Vallejo, California, and I was born and raised in the Bay Area, mostly living in Vallejo, California. And so I really had the passion for acting and modeling, storytelling, but as a young person, I didn't know it as storytelling ever since I was a young girl. And I mean, my mom picked up on it. So as like prior to elementary school, my mom had me all over San Francisco, having me in all these scam schools, right? We all know about scam schools. She did the best that she could with her knowledge of how to get into the entertainment industry. And so I thank her for trying. We didn't really get far. So I started school. I just focused on school. I focused on, just sports and things like that. Of course, I always had that desire. And then I heard of another scam school in middle school. I was like, Mom, please, can you I'm going to make it if you just sign me up for this school. And she did. She drove me out across the bay to like South San Francisco. It was like weekly for a certain amount of weeks, and nothing ever happened after that. But after high school, I was 18 and I was able to make more decisions for myself, and I started to dabble in it. And then after college is when I was able to be like, okay, I'm doing this full force. And my parents allowed me to move home after college and do that. And that's when I started to make my connections in the entertainment industry, doing some short films and doing some TV shows like Wise with Knives, which is on the Investigation Discovery Channel. And then, of course, I got a corporate job because I live in the Bay Area, so I need to buy.
We got to pay those bills.
Yeah, so my mom very much pushed for me to make sure to have to live and to be able to make it on my own. So I did that. But when COVID hit, I had a prayer to God, and I asked God, like we were stuck in our houses, right? So all we did mostly during that time when COVID first happened is work. And I was like, God, I don't want to live my life just working every day. Like there's so much more to me. There's so many gifts and talents that you've given me. I want to make sure that I tap into all of them before I go, whatever my time is. And I was encouraged. I felt the Holy Spirit led me to like start developing my skills, which is to get into some classes. And so I got in the class, and as Christina said, that's where we met in the Empire House Acting Studio. And ever since I got into class, I think really finding a community, my career has it's just multiplied like exponentially. And so that is where I am today. I met Tony through the Brave Maker organization through an audition, and you guys, we just fell in love. And I've just been able and blessed to just really work on some cool things. Like I got to do a Golden State Warriors commercial. It's just been really fun. It's just been a fun journey. And I will say I'm having fun now. There have been times, of course, where I felt, am I enough? Will I ever be the one that gets picked? Am I in the wrong city? Do I have to move to LA and live in a car for a year? But
Priscilla.
So
you brought up like so many topics, like so many things that we could touch on for hours. The scam schools, I think Tony and I have wanted to talk about as actors, as people in the Bay Area trying to actors and models. There's so many opportunities to be taken advantage of, unfortunately. but we are so happy that you've persevered. You continued. You were very intentional. You were focused on your faith. Tony and I are both very faith-driven, very faith-based in our endeavors for films. So congratulations. This is amazing. This is so exciting to see. Shout out to Empower House for bringing us together. And now you're part of the Brave Maker crew.
And I'm excited to be here. Yeah.
So you can find Priscilla on the gram at Miss Priscilla Lam, Lam. Check her out because we're watching right now, both live. If you're on the replay, you'll see it as well. If you're listening to the podcast, you'll have to go and find it on our YouTube channel, bravemaker.org, to see all this great stuff. But you've got a really great portfolio of work. You have really hustled yourself to a standing in the Bay Area community. And just to kind of go back to what you were saying, how we connected. So Priscilla submitted for Last Chance Charlene for one role. And I just remember seeing your self-tape submission and going, I knew right away you knew what you were doing. You were a trained person, or else a confident actor, or both. You are both. And I said, okay, we got to get her in for a callback. And we brought you in for a callback with our producers, Jessica and Karen. And I remember going, I think we need her in this film. I don't think this is the right role for her she's auditioning for, but we need to get her in. And I rewrote a scene, the cafe scene, to give a more, more screen time to a role that wasn't going to be that much, just because of how you presented yourself in the auditions. So, and I know I've told you that so many times before, but I want people to know this industry is so much about those relationships, and you have done. Priscilla did the work. She showed up, and sometimes that sounds so cliche because everyone says just show up and do the work, but it's part of it. You have to, and then it's building the relationships, and it's being somebody that people want to cast and people want to be around. And we brought you back for another short film. And as I just told, her off camera, I want to find other ways to get her in front of the camera because you're so delightful to work with, but you are very talented and you are striking on film. Really, you bring something to life, and people feel some sort of way about you, as they should, because you really bring that. So I hope you feel totally affirmed right now, because I'm living the Priscilla fan club.
Thank you. I definitely do. And I appreciate all those kind words. And talk about community, crossing paths with Brave Maker, and then my community expanding even more. And I just want to encourage anyone out there that's listening to this podcast or watching us live, thank you for being here, that truly finding a community. And that first community that I was introduced to was Empower House Acting Studio, which, yes, I did have to pay, but it's not a scam school. Why
Yeah, it's not a scam school.
The difference there.
Yeah.
It's not a scam school because my acting studio didn't promise me any roles or like Disney Channel outcomes or like the promise was to train and for me to do what I have to do to be a working actor, even in the LA market. Being in class, I get connected to different students that are in the class. Christina's one of them. And I don't know what Christina could be working on. And truthfully, I don't know what Christina's background could be. She could have been a producer coming into the acting world, or she could be, like we had another classmate that was, I want to say a director for BMW commercials, right?
Yeah,
and,
right, yeah.
And he was in class, and not even sure if he wanted to pursue acting, but he wanted to learn. And that's another connection made right there. So when you go into these communities, you don't know where people are from, their background, or where people are going.
Yeah.
And so just to find your community, it just broadens your opportunities.
Absolutely. Yes. And so just to go back to the schools. So what do you want to say to actors out in the Bay Area who have been burned at scam schools? What do you look for? How do you know you're in the right environment?
That's a great question, because I don't have a blanket statement that can cover all of it. Because even after some classes, I was still like watching, like I got my eye on this.
Yeah.
But for me, what my first class that I took was in Powerhouse Acting Studio. I'm now with a different acting school in LA via Zoom conservatory. I knew that I was in a good place of how serious my teacher was, not about how many jobs I was booking or what my resume looked like, but how I performed and how I showed up as an actor on and off the screen. So being drilled in that my discipline and consistency of me practicing my craft, the expectations, like when I first started school, I know this is bad. This is probably just bad because it's just bad, but I assumed that I probably needed to practice like 1 30-minute session outside of our class. And mind you, our school was 2 times a week for our classes, like 3-hour blocks.
Yes.
So, but being in my classes, my teacher did not play. She had an expectation of, no, to be a working actor, you need to be doing this, if not daily, more than once a week.
Right.
And just the idea of like practicing my instrument as an actor, just like I would practice an instrument as like a musician. And so just being at that school, seeing how my teacher was serious about me and my craft and how I am as an instrument, that's when I was like, okay, I'm in a good place. So that was what it was for me.
Yes.
Priscilla, can you talk about the work that you're doing? So I hear you talking about training, you're taking classes, and sometimes people think, well, acting is just using your imagination. It's just play, which is definitely a part of it. But learning how to play is actually a craft. Learning how to use your imagination is a craft. So you're investing in yourself. It is, an investment, financial investment, which is important. And there are people who will take your money and scam you. So be aware of that.
Yeah.
But can you talk about the other stuff that, you're putting yourself out there, you're submitting to castings, you're going to LA. I know you went to LA for a big audition or 2 here and there. You were on Insecure on set just to be in Issa Rae's airspace. That's right. That's right. So,
I would have paid to be there. Okay. Like, let me just I would have paid someone if I could have just been on set. So the fact that I got paid to be on set, I was grateful. But yes, to talk about that. So being in classes is definitely important because you get to build your community and get to build your skill. Outside of that, it's very much like a salesman's job. You have to go door to door, and seeing are different people of different. It could be a producer, cinematographer. It could be casting doors. You're a salesman. You're going door to door, and your brand is you as an actor. So it's very much a hustle mentality. And I used to dream and think that getting an agent was the key to take me to the top.
Lies.
And also, as I mature in my acting journey, realizing what my top is and what the dream is. The dream is I love to storytell and act. So as long as I get to do that and get paid, it really does fulfill me. So the idea of only being fulfilled as a multi-million-dollar actor has definitely gone out the window as I matured in my acting career. Not that I love that. Yeah. I will get there, but the blessing is to be able to do what I love, which is acting. Yeah. And like, for example, the Golden State Warriors, I didn't get that through my agent. I got that through a friend that worked in the Golden State Warriors media department and was like, hey, there are auditions are happening for here, submit.
Wow.
And that's probably one of the biggest things I've done, right? As far as like people viewing it. Yeah. But that's why it's like community is so important. I'm gonna stress that. That's gonna be my biggest thing on this call, okay? Community is so important. And hustling, you're a salesperson. And for example, with Tony, I just want to take it to Tony. When I auditioned for Last Chance Charlene, sometimes in my early years, I would get caught up on like, man, I didn't get that role. I didn't get that role. And just being that role. But the blessing is like to take it into reality of building community. I auditioned. Tony, producers of Bravemaker, of Last Chance Charlene, got to see who I was, and we built a relationship. And not only have I done that, but now I got to to host the red carpet of the film festival. Now,
Can you talk about that?
Yes.
I would love to know, how did you end up on the Brave Maker red carpets doing these brilliant Met Gala style interviews?
Ooh, look at that. What an encouragement. Met Gala. Come on.
Yeah, it's been just tapping in and hustling, like we talked about, hustling, salesperson, letting people know, hey, these are my talents. Please let us know. Well, please keep me posted on how we can collaborate, how we can partner, how I can be an asset to your next production. It's literally that. Like, I'm available. Here are my talents. Not just don't forget me, but I'm here.
Yep. Okay, in more than that too, Priscilla, it's I'm here and I will do this. I can do that. You put yourself out there and said, this is what I can do, right?
Yeah.
And to Priscilla and so many other people who do this, because you have to do this in this industry with the relationships, is volunteer. You volunteered this year, and I'll proclaim it now. I told her off camera, next year we're paying you for that, because I saw the value that you brought to our red carpet, the way that you conducted the interviews and, championed people. I was just watching some footage of the film festival stuff that's coming out soon, and I saw you on the red carpet with filmmaker Damian Smith. Shout out to Damian. He was on the show a few episodes ago, and you were talking about the government in his documentary. I was like, oh my gosh. And you had your note cards, and you're doing
You're
this.
so good. You're so professional. Like, you've been doing this for years. It's fun. You make it fun. Yeah.
And you triple threaded yourself to the point of like where, okay, Chris, you were just like, all right, this is what I'm doing. You want to be acting in films, and you're doing this work, to be a Meisner trained student. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm not above, doing a wine commercial. I'm not above doing red carpet hosting, and nothing wrong with red carpet hosting, but there's like, this is a triple threat kind of quadruple threat kind of industry where when you do all these things and people start connecting with you, you make connections, and then it's like, oh, here, I'm doing the red carpet with a microphone in my hand, but keep me in mind when you're casting, that's literally so freaking cool.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And going back again to networking and community, like me meeting, I got exposed because of the volunteering opportunity. I got exposed to people I would have never met sitting in my living room waiting for an audition to pick me.
That's right.
I've got to meet so many brilliant producers, directors, and it's like, whether they choose me or not, they know me.
They know.
That's right. You're keeping yourself out there. And shout out to volunteering. I started also as a volunteer. And from there, just offering your services, and not expecting anything in return except to learn and to share your gifts. I think that opens the door to so many beautiful opportunities. And I love seeing the opportunities that are opening up for you. You're sitting in a very beautiful space. This is something outside of acting, but I'm sure it also complements what you do, because you got to hustle and grind and work hard to do what you're doing. Can you share a little bit about what you're doing in this space and your lighting choices back here?
Yes. Shout out to West Elm if you want to cut me a check for.
Oh, I love West Elm.
West Elm cut me a check, but there you go, West Elm. But yes, so I am young. I'm 28. I have older siblings that drill in my head all the time about financial literacy, so I can't get away from it. But I'm not perfect, by the way, with my finance. But it was very important for me to have a place that I can build equity and that I could call my own and just, build something for the future. So I ended up buying a 3-2 here in the Bay Area, 3-bed, 2-bath. And it's a super big lot. It's about 9,500 square feet. And the goal is to build an ADU unit on it, to pretty much make money off of something that I own. Prior to this, I only had a car to my name. So it was just like to kind of put myself in a position where I could make money. So for example, how I can make money here is like maybe renting out a room, having a roommate.
Right.
Or my biggest goal is to be on peer space with my space and hopefully like I always talk about, you guys, networking and expanding my community is to rent it out to production companies.
Mm-hmm.
So they can rent
I
it,
love
shoot
it.
a movie, shoot a TV show, shoot an episode of a podcast, whatever. You guys can rent it through Peerspace. And not only would I be able to meet people or creative agencies, but that's building my community in a way that, like, entertainment industry way. So I'm just trying to stay creative and stay, in the advantage, but that is what I'm doing. So I bought a fixer-upper home. It was nasty, gross, broke down. In an okay neighborhood. Is not even the best neighborhood, but I'll be safe here, which is the blessing. I have that peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to try to build my community in the entertainment industry as, renting out to production companies, but
This
also
is huge.
find ways
It's
to
so
make
huge. Yeah.
So just in case I want to quit my 9 to 5 and go full time,
Right.
I have a way to figure out a way to make some money.
Okay, that's the brave maker way. We talk about braving your way. I think this is my opinion. I think so many people give up in this industry because they don't have. Let me rephrase that. They're not willing to do what it takes. I really believe everybody has what it takes within them, the power, the strength. I'm a person of faith. I believe the divine, and we're created to be powerful beings. But I don't think everyone's willing to do what it takes. And I see you're willing to do what it takes to have a career, it takes perseverance and longevity. And so many people give up because they're not willing to access within what they have created within them already, to find ways to be entrepreneurial. And Wendy Pineda, who is the CEO of Supersonics Entertainment, she was one of our guests at the Brave Maker Film Fest. She said every creative person in the film and entertainment TV industry needs to be an entrepreneur, and they need to view their life as a business. And so what I see you doing, and it's so inspiring to me, Priscilla, is you're doing what it takes. We often say, well, I want to live the dream. And instead tell yourself, I'm living the dream now. I look at the work that you've done. You've lived a lot of dreams. You've done feature films and commercials and modeling, and good on you. And you're working hard and you're doing it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm
love it, being very strategic.
Thank you. I'm trying. And it's not like I don't have any cry lists. Like I cry nights sometimes, and like, of course we all have those nights. And like you said, it's really just perseverance and really just, in a sense, believing it all will work together. We don't know the timeline of that, but I really do believe that it will all work together. When it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But I'm going to set up the building blocks for it to, like, be in place when it's time.
Do you remember what you said to me at the film fest? Anytime someone says, I hope you're not offended by this or something, you started out by saying that. I was like, uh-oh, I'm bracing myself. What are you going to say? Do you remember the question you asked me?
Yeah, in the room, it was just you in the movie theater room?
Yeah,
What?
Share it.
Are you sure you're ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah, so I had asked Tony, because you guys, listeners and viewers, Tony is so well connected in the entertainment industry. It is mind-blowing. And as a young actor, sometimes we believe that if we just meet the right person, I'm a blockbuster movie star. If we just get in front of the right friend that could just plug your name, or this one episode on this TV show, I'm gonna be known, and all the casting directors are gonna respect me. Like, that's what I do. So Tony is so well connected. It's kind of like this thing of like, Tony, how do you know all these people and you have all these connections? Where $1 million at?
Why doesn't anybody know you yet? Yeah, and I love that you asked that, because it's that whole mentality of I have so many friends, and I don't say that because I know so many people in so many positions of power, and yet they sometimes can't help me. They can't do anything for me. I still have to do the work.
Hustle.
Yeah.
That's right.
I still have
You
to brave
guys,
the way,
That's
and
so
that's
powerful.
why we're doing it with this community. It's like people talk about trying to network up, but network to the side and pull the people with you. And that's sort of been my philosophy. It's like, all right, all of us, like, I'll do everything in my power. I'll work my butt off more than anyone else, and I'll bring whoever is willing to work as hard as me with me. Like that's it. So I love that you asked me that, because I was like,
That's great.
yeah, you're right.
That's
Don't
that
depend
real
on anything.
stuff.
Don't
That's
depend
that
on
real
people,
stuff as
you know?
an actor in the Bay, trying to make it. You've been scammed, you've persevered, you've gone here, and then you meet this person, and he has Oscar-winning friends, and he knows all of these people, and it's like, man, if he has all these connections, like, what does it take? It takes hard work and perseverance. It takes for you to continue to be passionate about your dreams and to be very strategic. And I think you said something else too. Everything will align for the projects. When you're supposed to be on that big screen and everyone is supposed to know your name and your work, they will.
Yes. And I think that is the key of the alignment, in the fact that Tony, instead of sitting down and being like, oh, okay, I know all these people and it still didn't happen for me, it must not be it. Where you're allowing the timing to come when it's fun, but you're doing the building blocks for when it comes, it goes. Because honestly, to me, you're like the Bay Area Tyler Perry, in a sense of like,
yeah.
Of like, no, truly, like, I know it's like, I'm, but it's like, you put on a film festival for voices to be heard, for films to be seen. And sometimes these people that are in your festivals, this is the first festival ever.
Pretty special. Yeah.
It's so
very
special.
It's so special.
Sitting in your house, thinking you have a vision, a creative place you want to go, and then bring it into reality, and then having a space where someone says, we appreciate you for braving your way and bringing this into reality, and we appreciate your art. And the fact, like, you haven't blown yet, but can you imagine when you do, and all these people that already are on your journey with you, like, come up with you?
Yeah, that's us, Priscilla. Yeah.
I was just like, I had to, like, but I did have to ask Tony that question, because truly, I think a lot of us actors really believe it's just that if I just get in front of that one casting director and he thinks I'm good, I'm a superstar. I'm a movie star.
Dispel those myths. Dispel all those myths. Get them out of here. Yeah.
Friends who have done Netflix top shows, like, had lines on there, and like have been in front of casting directors that love them, but they still haven't had a role for them yet. So just continue on your journey, and when things align, they'll align. But I think that's the thing that Tony is like showing all of us of, don't give up. Do not give up. Keep going, because when it's your time, it'll be your time. But in the meantime, develop yourself, develop your gifts, develop your talent, network across, and make those relationships and build your community, because you really never know.
You never know. And flip those houses and get that production. You know what I mean? Like, that is great.
Being in the real estate, sector, I'm not really even like a real estate guru or anything, guys, but just being in the film and like being around people who do that can be a movie investor. We really don't know. That could be somebody that has $1 million that just makes a lot of passive income, and we're like, oh, we have this project that we want to bring to life, and they're like, oh yeah, we can drop 50 grand.
Yep. You don't know.
Think big. You don't know. Yeah.
And with that, we talk about this, a lot, but building those bridges in this industry with those relationships, because a lot of people burn bridges, and when I say burn bridges, there are people who we've encountered that are just toxic and really difficult to be around, and they say awful things, they gossip, they slander, they're people you just don't want to work with, they quit in really inopportune times. That's one sense of burning bridge, but there's a whole other side of burning bridges. I'll tell you this: people remember when you flake. And they remember when you flake and totally ghost. Now, please don't hear like you can't make mistakes. We've had to forgive thousands of dollars, literally, of mistakes in our organization, because it happens. And I hope people forgive me when I make those kind of mistakes, because believe me, I've hurt people's feelings. I've run people over. I've forgotten. Didn't show up to things. But you got to come back and apologize. That's the whole thing about these relationships and the community. But when you don't show up and you don't communicate, people remember that. And it's so funny. I had this really hard, awkward thing where 2 or 3 times, I know it's for sure 2, could have been 3, with an actor I tried to work with who just didn't show up, and then came to the film festival, and I had to say, like, hey man, what's going on? Like, how come you keep ghosting? It's just really weird and hard. And I just I want to give people a second, third. I will give people fourth chances sometimes, but you just, as a person in this industry, you remember more the people who are there and are people of their word and are great to work with. And sometimes you just can burn a bridge by forgetting to respond to emails or not showing up to your call time ever. So just for all our viewers and listeners, it really is, that phrase about talent is so important, but hustle will beat talent if talent doesn't hustle. You could be really beautiful, really talented and amazing, but if you're not willing to show up and go the extra mile, people won't want to work with you. And so that's why I go, as we're coming up, I'm like holding all y'all close to me. I'll write things personally. I'll bring you in because I know I can trust you. You're talented, but you're also dependable. Dependable is really important.
Yeah.
And so it's financial literacy. Can we champion that? We're always on here talking to actors and filmmakers. How do you make ends meet and pay those bills while you're chasing your dreams? It's so important to be financially literate. I actually went to business school. I studied finance, never thought I'd be acting, and now I'm acting. And those skills are probably the most important, because if you can't keep the lights on, you can't audition, right? So it's really important. I love that. And your siblings, what a gift that they gave to you, that they, continuously had those conversations with you. It's a tremendous gift. And thank you for sharing, just a little bit of that with us. Yeah, great reminder for actors.
Thank you.
So listeners on the podcast or people who are watching on the replay, go follow Priscilla and her acting, modeling, red carpet hosting, creative journey at MS Priscilla LAM, Miss Priscilla Lam on Instagram. You're going to be seeing and hearing from her more. We're so grateful you're a part of the Brave Maker community, Priscilla. If you ever need some encouragement, just hit us up, because we can float your boat. Right? And make sure you follow us on our Insta page at bravemaker.org and Brave Maker Film Fest. You can see all the behind the scenes videos and photos. In fact, we just released a really cool photo collage of all of the images taken by one of our favorite photographers, Aaron Ashford, from the Fox Theater. Really, really cool stuff. So go to Brave Maker Film Fest on Insta and check it out, and follow us and be a part of the film festival in 2013, which is already on the books, July 13 to the 16, 2023. Believe it or not, submissions open September 1st for all the films. So check us out. Heck yeah. What's up?
So for people who want to submit, what are the qualifications needed?
Yeah. We are looking for brave films, brave storytellers. So qualifications, obviously our judges like Christina and myself who are watching films and rating them are looking for quality. We really care that production quality is high. We're looking for a brave story on the screen. Is it a diverse cast and crew? Is there representation behind the camera as well? Does your story connect with our themes and our values of justice, diversity, inclusion in some way? We like to laugh, we like to entertain, we like to educate. So all of those things are on the Film Freeway site if you look us up. But we would also say, your ability to craft a story that is artistic but also well done production quality is really important. So all of those things are on the site. We look for short films, feature films, animated documentaries, all of the things. Sometimes music videos, right? We had White Negrito, that was super fun. Yeah, so all that stuff, if you look us up on filmfreeway.com, we'll be there. And if you want to join our team in some way, by the way, I'm sorry I'm not interacting totally with all the comments, but Claudia, thank you for saying you're going to follow her. She is amazing. Follow Claudia. We love interacting. So if you want to get involved with us and maybe be a screener, we are always looking for people who love movies, and you can become a part of our jury team, watching films and rating them to help us find some of the best ones that we program every year that Priscilla will be on the red carpet interviewing in July of 2023.
Very cool.
All right. We're not done yet. We're going to go to one of our favorite segments of the show. It's called Brave Faves.
Brave Faves. TV shows, films, books, songs, technology, clothing, podcast, food, and more. These are a few of our favorite people, places, and things. Brave Faves.
Wow, I cannot get enough of Beyonce's new music, particularly Cozy. I think we all would love to feel a little more cozy in our skin, comfortable with the way we are moving through the world, more confidence, more strength. I love all that kind of stuff. And I got this song on repeat. If you haven't heard it, check it out. I was going to say, I don't know if it's appropriate for the show, but yeah, definitely play that. Rock that song later. So Cozy by Beyonce, that's my Brave fave. And I'll throw it over to you, Tony. What's your Brave fave for the week?
Okay, I might have mentioned this to you, Christina, off camera, but I dug and binged the FX on Hulu show called The Bear. It is a show about a chef in Chicago. I happen to be from Chicago. I happen to come from a family that used to own restaurants, and definitely a family that eats a lot of beef sandwiches, which is what the show is about. It's super stressful.
Cool.
It's like Uncut Gems. If you like that frenetic, fast-paced kind of story, if you like diverse casts, it also kind of aligns with the themes of my film, Last Chance Charlene. How does a person grieve the loss of a loved one to suicide in a workplace? They call it a comedy. I wouldn't call it a comedy. It is kind of funny. Maybe it's more of a dramedy, but it's a really great cast and story. So I recommend The Bear on FX and Hulu.
Okay.
Nice.
What do you got, Priscilla?
Yeah, so mine is Failing Forward book by John C. Maxwell. This is just the theme of my whole life, I feel like, especially this year in 2022. And if you haven't read it. If you have, reread it. I recently reread it. And just the idea of embracing failing and failing forward. And sometimes we have these huge goals and dreams, and it doesn't turn out, or we don't execute it the way we planned for it to be executed, or we dreamt of it to be executed. But the reality is we're actually closer to our end goal than not doing anything. So
Good.
Very good.
We should incorporate that more into our show, Christina. Like maybe one of our questions is what's the biggest what's a lesson, a failure lesson that you go back to, you know? Can we do a quick lightning round? Is there something that comes to mind in regards to your life, entertainment, relationship, whatever? Go, girl, go.
So recently I was brought on by the Afro Comic Con team to be their film festival director, and they also tasked me to do their banner, which required a lot of graphic art. I'm not a trained graphic artist. The resolution wasn't what it needed to be to print an 8x10 banner. Days before the event, I find this out. So I'm in these print shops like, well, what can we do? And they're like, well, can you compress it? I'm like, I don't know how to do any of that stuff. And it came together in the end, but it was just like, oh my gosh, this banner, I've worked on the art for hours and days, and now we have something that we probably can't use, but it came together hopefully. So this is some of the art. I did all these incredible panels. Ultimately, it's like, well, some of the resolution wasn't there, because I just grabbed images from, the internet, and I didn't know. I'm going to take some graphic art school now. But that was kind of like a huge failure, I felt, but, I kept moving forward, and it all worked out. And I'm really happy to say, we got to take pictures with a bunch of great people at Okanda Saturday in front of the banner, and it looked great. And just keep on going. Just work through the tears is what I'll say. Even when you hit that obstacle, you hit that hurdle, you're like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? Yeah. Just keep going. So that's my fail. Yeah.
I love that you learned as you were doing, though, and you took on a project that maybe was too big, but that's okay. You still completed it. It worked, and you're adjusting, and now next time it'll be better. Mine is doing all this film work and working on projects where you are paying people. Is you have to, and I failed in this way, you have to be super clear to communicate what people's pay rates are. And sometimes you think, oh, well, we're all friends and we're collaborating, and just a little email like, this is what it is. Or on the side, like, hey, I'm going to pay you $200 a day. But then someone doesn't quite hear correctly, and then they think it's more, and like, oh my gosh. So anybody who was working on the film fest this summer, I was like over the top going, okay, this is your day rate, this is what it is, and I'm going to email you a copy with Jessica CC'd on it, who's our producer, because I don't want there to be any miscommunication. Sometimes you're like, how did you get this in your idea that I was going to be doing this for a month? Like, people need clear communication, and also get a lawyer. So legal things are very important when you're making films. Get contracts clearly explained out. That's one thing I failed to do, and I will learn from my mistakes in the future. Yeah. What about you, Priscilla?
For me, it's my YouTube series about my home renovation. When I first started out, I had dreams of the videos being like 5-star, like, you know, like just the party going crazy, the storyline making total sense. And I tell you, when I first started, my storylines were all over the place in one video. I try to write a script and it still be a mess. And it's like,
wow.
And it's like now though, the quality is just like gotten so much better. And the storyline from start to finish in one video makes more sense. And
I love it.
Like the idea of failing forward. When I put my first one out at the top of my journey, it didn't look like I wanted to, but I didn't stop. I kept failing forward.
Very good.
So let me fix it this time in this video. Okay, now this video, I don't like how this is looking. So let me fix it on the next video. And you just take all you learn and keep just moving forward and failing forward. That's it.
Come on.
Forward. I love it. This great idea.
This episode was chock full of inspiration. Thank you, Priscilla, for being a part of this. We love you. We'll go back to you in 1 second. Again, my name is Tony Gapastione, y'all, and I love getting to do this work. I want to encourage you, follow me at Tony Gapastione on all the socials. You can, sound it out. You'll find me. You can also find us at bravemaker.com or bravemaker.org. We are a nonprofit. So this work that we do is funded by generous people like you to make it happen. You can go to bravemaker.com/donate to become a donor today. You can also use your phone. Just text the word Bravemaker to 44321. We have 25 people who give a little bit of money every month to help us stay afloat, to help us with our rent and our gear and help us do films. Eventually, we want to have 100 donors a month or 1,000 donors a month that help us put on these community events and film screenings and help us do these films so we can keep creating this community. So thank you to those of you who support us and follow us. And you can feel free to reach out to me and or Christine at any time if you have questions or if you want to get involved. We're really happy with all the offerings that we have right now from our screenwriting class that has 12 different students in it right now, which is so great. And don't miss out on our film screenings and live things coming up in September. Go to our website at bravemaker.com/buzz, where you can sign up for our free email list.
Yes, and come back next week. We will be joined by Mark Cerritos from the Movie Lens. And we cannot do the show without our amazing producer and our social media manager, Amy Cohen out of Austin, Texas. Woo-hoo. Thank you so much. Woo-hoo. Carrie and Bernal out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Our Sarah Angola, who is there in the studio today. Batman. And I know there was one. We have one more intern. We have Emerson out of the Bay Area. Am I missing anyone? I think I got everyone. You guys are an amazing team. We can't do the show without you. And tune in next Wednesday at 4 p.m. where we'll be joined by the Movie Lens guy.
So that is our show. Go follow Miss Priscilla Lam. Priscilla, any final words you want to shout out to the people before we go?
Thank you so much, Bravemaker, for having me on your guys' podcast. I had fun. I would love to do it again. And for all the listeners out there, follow me, Priscilla Lam. And remember to find community.
Yes.
Very
good.
Opens up so many doors for you, opportunities, and allows you to grow. So that is
come on. So if you were encouraged or inspired by Priscilla in this conversation, hit that like and subscribe and reshare with your friends, tag your friends in this episode. And we hope to see you again. Thank you so much, Priscilla. We always end the show by saying brave stories change the world.
Yes.
And you are the story. Bye, everybody.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at bravemaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word BRAVEMAKER to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.